Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, I'm bringing you guys Week 6 tight end start or sit decisions for fantasy football in 2020. We are going to be going over the Sunday games all the way until Monday, since there are no Thursday games this week due to that game getting moved to be the second game on Monday. Now, before I get into each and every single game here from the Week 6 slate, I'd like to give you guys a word from my friends and my sponsor over at OverlayDFS.com. OverlayDFS.com is my favorite place to play daily fantasy sports for fantasy football. Now, they do offer other sports, but I mainly focus on NFL. The site is simple. You go to the matchup shop. There's going to be a million games. Right now, there's only a couple because we're pretty far away from Sunday, but they offer a bunch of different games with spreads. Pretty much all it is who scores more fantasy points head-to-head plus the spread. It is very simple to figure out who scores more fantasy points on Sunday, Carson Wentz or Joe Burrow. Carson Wentz gets +2 fantasy points. Joe Burrow loses -2, and at the end of that, after you add the +2 and the -2, whoever scores more fantasy points ends up winning. It is that simple. You can bet on just one game, or you can parlay a bunch together, or bet on a bunch of them single and don't parlay them. You can do whatever you want. It is the easiest way to win money in daily fantasy sports. I really suggest you guys check this out. If you watch all my videos, if you do a lot of research yourself, it should be very easy to win some moolah on OverlayDFS.com. If at any point in this video you guys do end up enjoying, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Not only is it free, I put out content every single day to help you guys win that 2020 Fantasy Football Championship. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Week 6 tight end start or sit decisions. We begin here with the Broncos at the New England Patriots. Now, I have Noah Fant listed as a start, but he's got the tag next to him due to the fact that he's questionable. Not too sure how healthy he is going to be in this game. Going up against the Patriots defense, when Bill Belichick normally kind of cancels out the best player on each offense, in my opinion, right now the best player on the Broncos offense is Noah Fant, so I feel like he's not going to have all that great of a game. Now, the issue with tight end is it's such a non-deep pool. It is really centered around like 10 guys, and then after that, it kind of turns to a shit show at the position. And in cases like that, you almost have to be forced to start these guys that you aren't ultra sure about. So if you have another option besides Noah Fant, I would lean his way that week, or this week in week number 6. But if Noah Fant's your only option, you could definitely do a lot worse than him this week up against the New England Patriots. For the Patriots, they kind of have a smorgasbord of tight ends, a carousel of tight ends. The starter listed is Ryan Izzo, but he's not really fantasy relevant at all. Neither are any of the other options there in New England. Next game here, we got the Tennessee Titans going up against the Houston Texans in Tennessee. Now, Jonnu Smith last week up against the Buffalo Bills on Tuesday absolutely blew their back out. He put up a fantastic game. Jonnu Smith has been one of the best late-round tight ends, if not the best late-round tight end that you drafted this year. This guy has been on fire, and this week I expect nothing different, especially up against this Houston Texans defense. The Texans defense is absolute trash. They are atrocious. They won't be able to stop the running back. They can't stop a quarterback. They can't stop a wide receiver, and they certainly won't be able to stop a tight end of the caliber of Jonnu Smith. I think he finds the end zone this week, and the Titans looked very dangerous in the passing attack last week up against the Buffalo Bills. For the Texans, they don't have a carousel of tight ends because there's not like 50 guys there like with New England, but they do have two guys, Fells and Atkins, and if one of them scores a touchdown, you'll be happy with one. If the other one doesn't, then you're going to be pissed off about the other, and on a weekly basis, one of them normally doesn't even score a touchdown, so you're really just chasing the high of a touchdown, and at that point, I don't really feel it's worthy of starting in fantasy football. Next game here, we got the Cleveland Browns at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the Cleveland Browns have been not so good up against the tight end thus far this season. That's kind of why I like Eric Ebron. Again, the pool is very not deep at all this year at the tight end position. So if you want to take the shot at Eric Ebron, go ahead and do it. Now, Austin Hooper has played like shit this season, played very good last week up against the Philadelphia Eagles, was actually involved in the offense. The other weeks, he just seemed like a non-existent piece of the offense. Maybe Kevin Stefanski and Baker Mayfield have developed a looking towards Austin Hooper on the field connection or something, and that's why he was used. So maybe he'll put up a good game, but up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I would try to go ahead and fade away a lot of guys going up against one of the tougher defenses in the NFL. I do like Eric Ebron, but he is more touchdown dependent. But again, he definitely has top 10 potential this week against the Browns, considering how not so hot the Browns have been so far this season against the tight end position. Next game here, we got the Baltimore Ravens at the Philadelphia Eagles, the Battle of the Birds, the B.O.B. Shout out to Bill O'Brien, who got fired from the Houston Texans. So with the Ravens at the Eagles, Zach Ertz has been a very big disappointment thus far this season. Now, there's no saying that he won't be able to turn it around due to the talent. He definitely could. But as of recently, he's been an absolute trap for your lineup. Now, he's listed as a start because you almost have to start him. This is an awful matchup, but he is one of the only usable wide receiver options on the team, even though he's a tight end, one of the only usable pass catchers on this Philadelphia Eagles offense. While he's been so bad recently, I just feel like he's going to have a bounce-back game here up against the Ravens. But understand, if you have another option that seems any bit safe, I would definitely play them over Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz will probably be listed inside the top 8 in my rankings, but he is probably the guy I feel least confident about due to the fact that he has been so bad, and this Eagles offense has been so bad as of recently. For the Ravens, I love Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews had a great week 1. They kind of disappointed the last couple of weeks, then has played good the last 2 games, so I am very bought on board with Mark Andrews. I've been bought on Marky Mark Andrews all offseason long. This Philadelphia Eagles defense is not very good at all. We saw Chase Claypool put up 4 total tuggies last week up against them like he was in a massage parlor with Robert Kraft. So I think Mark Andrews is going to have a big game here up against the Philadelphia Eagles. He always does. He's pretty much the number 1 wide receiver on the team, but he's the tight end. It's kind of the same thing here with the Eagles and Zach Ertz being the number 1 kind of wide receiver, even though he's a tight end. Next game here, we got the Washington football team at the New York football Giants. And in this one, I like Evan Ingram. Now, Evan Ingram has been complete and utter dick. I know last week, oh, Nick, we scored a touchdown last week. That touchdown was a rushing touchdown. When the fuck do you want your tight end to score a rushing touchdown? What are the odds of that happening? It's very low. It ain't going to happen again. And up against the Washington football team, though, this is a juicy matchup. Now, I don't expect Daniel Dimes to have all that much time to throw due to the fact that the Washington football team's front 7 is going to be coming for Danny Fumble's ass, and he's going to have to dump it off across the middle. And you want to know who's open right across the middle? Big man, Easy E, Evan Ingram. I understand that he's been risky as well as of recently, been playing like absolute shit. But again, we have another solid matchup for the Giants up against the Washington football team, so I think he should be solid on back-to-back games going against Dallas and this week going up against the Washington football team. For Washington, Logan Thomas was kind of good with Dwayne Haskins. Now with Kyle Allen and with Alex Smith, I don't even know who's going to be starting. We really have no idea. I don't feel ultra confident in Logan Thomas at all. Neither of those guys were really looking towards the tight end last week. Even up against one of the shittiest defenses in the NFL, if not the worst, in the New York football Giants, I don't feel ultra confident in Logan Thomas. Next game here, we got the Atlanta Falcons at the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota? Now, early reports this morning were telling us that 4 players on the the Atlanta Falcons have corona, right? And then a couple hours later comes out, oh, now just a coach or a staff member has corona. So which is it, Atlanta? This is the problem with the reporting. They fucking report something early in the morning. They tell you one thing. In reality, it's the complete opposite thing. It's very confusing when it comes to the COVID-19 stuff. So I have no idea if this game will play. I have no idea if 4 fucking players have it or if just the coach has it. Or just some staff member, the water boy. Water, H2O, Gatorade. That's some water boy quotes right there. Shout out to Adam Sandler. I have no idea what to think about that. Legitimately, no idea. I think this game plays based on it being a staff member, but again, there's so much news in the NFL that makes no sense. They report one thing, it's really the other. So I don't know. I'm assuming this game is going to play, but again, just boat on the side of caution, wait a couple of days, and we'll figure out more news as the days go on. So I'm going to go ahead and start Hayden Hurst if he plays in this game. The Minnesota Vikings defense is absolutely dog doo-doo. We saw how they were up by a zillion points on Seattle and let 1,000,000 points go in the third and fourth quarter. I understand Hayden Hurst hasn't really lived up to my expectations and has had some bad weeks, but overall, he's been pretty solid. On most weeks, he's above 8 to 10 points, and while that's not amazing at the tight end position, it's much better than a goose egg that some of these other motherfuckers are going to be putting up. And in a solid matchup, an A-plus matchup here up against the Minnesota Vikings, I would be surprised if we didn't see Hayden Hurst put up a solid game here, maybe even a tutty to elevate him past like that 15-point total if this game ends up playing. For the Vikings, it's kind of a shit show. One week it'll be Smith, one week it'll be Rudolph. Most weeks, it's neither of them doing anything for fantasy football, and until Kyle Rudolph gets kicked out of town of Minnesota, Irv Smith is just going to be stuck being the cuck, not getting enough work, even though he deserves it since he's a very talented player. Next game here, we got the Lions at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, I would like to ask that if you guys did end up enjoying at any point in this video, to please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Not only is it free, I put out content every single day to help you guys win that 2020 Fantasy Football Championship. Back into it, the Lions at the Jaguars. The Jaguars tight end Tyler Eifert big name a couple of years ago, hasn't been as good as of recently. Now, he's really just a touchdown-dependent tight end. He will have good games where he scores like 12, 15 points, but that's really based strictly on the touchdown. Up against the Lions, it's 100% possible that he does end up in the end zone, but I'm not going to buy into that. TJ Hawkinson, skirt. TJ Hawkinson has not been very good at all this season. Okay? He gets a lot of targets, gets some receptions, is okay, right? He's okay. He's not great. He's not bad. He's just right in the middle. And up against the Jaguars, this is a good enough matchup for me to go ahead and move him from a guy that I typically sit to a guy that would go into my lineup. I have a lot of confidence in him this week up against the Jacksonville Jaguars, whereas normally I have about zero confidence in TJ Hawkinson, so I'm feeling very good about him this week, and I will go ahead and put him in my lineup this week up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Next game here, we got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Indianapolis Colts. This is a game where you just start absolutely fucking nobody at the tight end position. Drew Sample, the fake name, the guy that you play with in Madden 3 years down the line, that is a rookie. Cincinnati Bengals tight end Drew Sample. Now, this is a terrible matchup for Drew Sample. It seems like all the guys on the defense are going to end up returning that ended up missing last week's game up against the Browns, so it's going to be very worrisome for Drew Sample. Even though we saw Hooper play quite well against them last week, I don't think the same thing happens when their guys are healthy on defense. For the Colts, Mo Money, Mo Cox, healthy, but now Jack Doyle's healthy. Now Trey Burton is there, and he's getting used. It seems like a fucking smorgasbord of tight ends again here. Seems like a situation where you start one guy, it's the wrong guy. And because Phillip Rivers loves to throw the ball to the tight end, but it seems like maybe now with all these tight ends healthy, he's going to do with the Oprah Winfrey approach of you got to touch, you all get the ball past you. That's what he's going to start doing, to where it kind of screws over Mo Money, Mo Cox. Even though he was worthy of an ad a couple of weeks ago, now not as much. Next game here, we got the Chicago Bears and 9-inch Nick Foles versus Teddy Two Gloves in Carolina. I like Jimmy Graham in this game. Jimmy Graham made one of the best catches of last week on Thursday night up against Tampa Bay. Tom Brady, he reached up like 1-3 and caught that shit with one hand right on the defender's face. It was beautiful. Going up against the Panthers this week, this is a very good matchup. It seems like 9-inch Nick Foles loves to throw the ball to the tight end, and I like Jimmy Graham in this matchup, considering he has looked very good this year. Very surprising in my opinion, considering I felt like he was a little too old to be as good as he's been. For the Panthers, Ian Thomas is very much a project tight end, I guess I would say. What that pretty much means is he's going to get better over the next couple of years and could potentially turn into a good tight end. But as of right now, he's just a guy that doesn't get enough use in Carolina to be worthy of a start at all. More of like a dynasty guy that's on your team that just rides your bench the whole year. And hopefully you think he'll be good a couple years from now. Next matchup here, we got the New York Football Jets at my Miami Dolphins. In this one, I like Mikey G, Mike Licky Amagasicki, Mike Gesicki of the not of the New York Football Jets, of the Miami Dolphins. Ryan Fitzpatrick loves to throw to this guy in the red zone, and they're going to be in the red zone a lot in this game up against Adam Gase and the New York Football Jets. That defense is burnt like toast. That defense is atrocious. They now don't have Le'Veon Bell. They're never going to have the ball in their hand. Maybe the Dolphins run on them a million times, but I still think Mike Gesicki is going to get enough usage in this game to categorize him as a start in a plus matchup where multiple touchdowns are on the table for this game. For the Jets, Chris Herndon has been criminally used in the wrong way. He's been misused. He should be a guy that's in the game catching the ball, but instead Adam Gase uses him as like some type of fucking offensive lineman or something, and he's blocking, and when he is out there wide open, Sammy Mano misses him, or Joe Flacco isn't looking for him, so he's not worthy of a start at all. Criminal misuse of Chris Herndon because the guy is extremely talented, just doesn't get the correct treatment in New York. Next game here, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay, Tom Brady going up against the Packers at home in Tampa Bay. I like Robert Tonyan in this matchup. Robert Tonyan scored not one, not two, but 3 fucking touchdowns 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, on Monday night. Last week they had the bye, so it was 2 weeks ago. Tonyan has looked like a fatal tight end in the NFL, and by fatal, that might mean shit to you, I guess, so maybe very good. A feeling dangerous tight end in the NFL. Robert Tonyan has been balling out the last couple of games, clearly emerged himself past Jay Sternberger and friends in Green Bay to be that number one tight end, and not Rob Gronkowski, I was going to say. And Aaron Rodgers loves to throw the ball to him. He loves to do the discount double check to him. Now, I do worry about what happens when Davante Adams is healthy, right? That could significantly tip back his work, but I still think he gets enough usage to be worthy of a start even with Mr. Davante Adams healthy. For the Bucs, Rob Gronkowski is just a touchdown play at this point. He just does not get enough usage. Now, week 1 through 4, he was not getting any usage. Week 4 and 5, I should say, we've seen him get a little bit more usage, but he's still, to me, irrelevant for fantasy football because all he is a touchdown play. and he seems like he's not even getting the ball thrown to him when he's open. So, I don't know. I just don't feel anything about Gronk this year. Next game here, we got the Los Angeles Rams at the San Francisco 49ers. I understand George Kittle last week shit the bed and really screwed you over, but I understand that was because the whole team shit the bed. Like, they looked so bad up against the Miami Dolphins. They're not going to look that bad in this game, even without sexy Jimmy Pornstar. Maybe he tries to play, but his ankle not working very well. This motherfucker was not stepping into his passes, and when you don't step into the pass, you don't set your feet correctly, which is what he wasn't doing. It leads to passes that are going astray, not going necessarily where you're targeting them, maybe going over, maybe going under, maybe going to the right, maybe going to the left, maybe going in all directions. For Jimmy Garoppolo, the direction it was going was to the other fucking team, okay? They're going to have a better game this week, even with if it's just Big Dick Beathard playing quarterback, so I'm not really all too worried. George Kittle's a locked and loaded go in your lineup on a weekly basis, so don't stress after one bad game. Tyler Higbee has been on and off, if I'm being honest with you. That's really all he's been. You can't say Tyler Higbee's had an amazing season. Can't say he's had a bad season. He's just had a good season because some of his games, this guy is bending over the defense, hitting them raw dog style, putting them on the fucking tube. And we're not talking about YouTube. They're going on the other tube with how bad they got fucked by Tyler Higbee, the defense-wise. And then in other games, Tyler Higbee's getting locked up, staying behind bars like his name was fucking Bobby Shmurda. So at the end of the day, he's okay in this matchup, right? This is a good matchup, so you start him. You play him, and you hope he does good. He'll probably do just fine in reality, so he's definitely worthy of a start. There's a lot worse guys than Tyler Higbee, so you kind of just are stuck firing him up on a weekly basis. Next game here, we got the first Monday game that starts at 5 p.m. EST for no fucking reason at all. That is the Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. Now, in this game, I expect it to be a bit closer. The Chiefs and the Bills both lost last week. I didn't even think about that. The Raiders dismantled the Chiefs, and then the Tennessee Titans completely dismantled them. They burnt the fucking Buffalo down like a table in the parking lot of Buffalo Stadium when they jumped right through the goddamn table. So it's kind of a revenge game. Not a revenge game. I guess a get-right game for both teams. I think this will be a high-scoring one. Obviously, Travis Kelce is a must-start on a weekly basis, no matter what the defense is. Even if the Bills' defense is pretty good against the tight end, it's not going to matter at all, considering Travis Kelce is the best fucking tight end in football, so you have to start him. For the Bills, Dawson Knox, one time, if you're with me, has been all right this season. Really a touchdown-dependent tight end. Hasn't even really found the end zone all that much. I don't even know if he has, because Tyler Kroft is there, and that motherfucker finds the end zone all the time. The final game here of the Week 6 slate of Monday Night Football between the Arizona Cardinals at the Dallas Cowboys. The Dan Arnoldinator, the Arnoldinator, the Terminator, Dan Arnold, get to the chopper. My fucking Schwarzenegger voice is so bad, but it actually is good in some videos, and it's really bad in others. I don't know what it is. I mean, the Borat is just much better. Very nice. I like you. That's a much better one. Shout out to Borat number 2. Now, I understand I'm not sponsored by them, obviously, but we fucking love Borat, and the second movie's coming out next week. I am very excited. It's going to be great success. So the Cardinals going up against the Cowboys. Dalton Schultz did disappoint last week, but I think this week he's in for a bounce-back game up against the Arizona Cardinals. While it isn't Dak Prescott, Andy Dalton seems like a comparable enough quarterback for throwing the ball to everyone on the fucking team. He was literally just evenly distributing the ball to everyone. Right? He's like, you get a target, you all get a fucking target. We talked about Oprah Winfrey before. The exact same system here with Andy Dalton. He just diversifies the revenue to every single fucking tight end on the team. So I like Dalton Schultz this game up against the Arizona Cardinals, and the Dan Arnoldinator I do not like because the Cardinals don't even use a fucking tight end. So thank you guys all for watching this video. If you did end up enjoying it at any point, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. I love each and every single one of you motherfuckers, and I cannot wait to see you guys in tomorrow's video. Have a great rest of your guys' days. Stay safe. I love you all. OverlayDFS.com. Have a great rest of your guys' day. Goodbye.